Welcome to On the Couch with Lisa Sukdev. And as part of our electoral series, in studio with us today, we have Imtiaz Sayed, the leader of the Active Citizens Coalition. Welcome, Imtiaz.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Nice being here.
We really appreciate you making the time to come and share with our viewers.
Absolutely. It's become the norm these days. I have to make time for these things because we put ourselves into the space. But ultimately, yes, we got to do what we got to do.
A recent newspaper said that you were the new kids on the block. Tell me a little bit about your party.
Well, you know, when we're speaking about kids, people refer to people that are teenagers, but I think what they mean is that we're actually the younger of the lot of politicians that are out there currently. And I can fully understand the concept because we feel we're the lost generation, and ultimately, by virtue of that, it means that when the liberation movement was happening and the ANC is actually the beneficiaries of the liberation, they weren't actually the movement in itself, right? We were all in school or, you know, and busy with that, you know. So we weren't really in universities, we weren't part of the struggle, and we don't want to take anything away from those that were part of the liberation movement. But we're saying we feel that there's a lot to be done. And we feel that the climate of municipal government and local government has eroded to the extent that we have to now step up and find something that's better for all of us, first and foremost, because we still have some life in us, and for our children moving forward. So that's why I think they've coined the term for us, the new kids on the block, yeah.
Tell me how you came up with the name of the party.
Okay, so the Active Citizens Coalition was born out of our passion for activism. We haven't been in the space of community activism since yesterday or for this election for that matter. We're coming from around about 2010, 2011, when we found ourselves sustainable in terms of our lives, and we felt that it was important for us to start giving back to community and start understanding the plight of communities out there. Back then we realized that the most important thing to people in 2010 and 2011 was not service delivery, it was crime. Crime was plaguing us like you can't imagine. So we got ourselves involved in various CPFs. We started mobilizing people in that space. We formed something called eThekwini Secure, and I'm not going to touch too much on it, but eThekwini Secure is quite well known. And any community that has challenges with regard to crime, we've been out there, we've mobilized them, we formed them, Chatswood Secure, Phoenix Secure, and all of that. And come around about 2013, 2014, around there, we started out an outreach program because we realized the need for cohesion and understanding across all races, groups, colors, and obviously religion, you know, because there was something that was brewing amongst communities based on religion and all of that. So we spoke to basically uniting everyone in this dream of a rainbow nation that was left to us in 1994. Come around about 2016, we firmly believed, and when I say we, I'm not just here on my own. We've got quite a large group of people that's behind us, all like-minded, all coming from the same backgrounds, all in business and doing that kind of thing. So when we discuss things with ourselves, oh yes, and the 17 people that I have in my head always asking me to do things, you know. So when we discuss things with ourselves, it was evident that in 2016, we needed to get involved in the space of service delivery. And it was very simple things back then. It was just about making sure the city was clean. That's all. Let's leave everything else out. Let's not worry about whether the ESCOM's working and the trains are working. Let's leave all of that out. Let's just worry about a clean city. Just street sweeping and dumping all over the place. And that's how we got involved. So in 2016 municipal elections, we decided to engage the local councillors, started talking to them about this and that and whatever, and then we understood the climate. And then we spoke to something called ward development. Now, through the space we're coming from, I think we've eroded the concept of what a council is supposed to be doing. We firmly believe that municipal services are supposed to be delivered autonomously, without any involvement or escalation or emails or anything like that from municipality or to municipality from the citizenry. We felt that it should be an autonomous process. You should be quite easily be able to get a hold of any municipal line department and report anything, and they should be coming out based on what they tell you, 24 to 48 hours, and they should come and resolve your pothole issues and whatever it is. Why was this not happening? And why did councillors now start getting involved in doing that? And we've eroded the concept of what a council is supposed to do by now we believing that that is all the council is supposed to be doing. When in fact, a councillor is supposed to be developing your ward. Where are the jobs? Where is social development? Where is care for our children? Where is care for our elderly? What are we doing about gender-based violence? How are we controlling the liquor licenses in and around our area? And all of those things, you know.
So I like that point. So tell me, as ACC,
yes,
how would you go around, how would you go about ward development?
Okay, so for us, there's two parts to being in council. We fully understand that there's a ward councillor and then there's a PR councillor, right? Obviously, you're going to get two ballots. One is you vote for your ward councillor, and then you vote for the party that you believe in. Now, on one side, the ward councillor has a duty and obligation to his constituency in order to provide the basic service. The first thing for us is organizing the community. How can we not have an organized community? And then you expect the councillor to deliver everything. It's not going to happen. There's too much that needs to be done. The wards are big. The problems are large. There's problems all over the place. There's water issues and electricity issues. And you can go on and day in about all of the problems our communities face. We are saying organizing communities are the key. Now, previously when we tried to do this, form ratepayers associations, speak to the CPFs, get civic bodies involved in all of that, the councillors felt that they needed to lead those bodies. And in fact, that's incorrect. The councillors needed to listen to those bodies. Those are the oversight bodies for a councillor. And if the councillors only worked with those bodies that currently existed, then they would have been clear in their understanding and been transparent in what they could and could not deliver. But this is where we found the problem. Now, before you get into how a ratepayers association is formed, you must understand that people that get involved in community activism are passionate. How do you now have a group of passionate people trying to resolve their issues, and you have a councillor who's sitting there based on some party that put them up and they get the job? That's what it is for them. So how do you take people that are passionate to translate a message of what they require to someone that has no passion in them?
You formed the ACC.
Thank you very much.
We were chatting off air about voter apathy.
Yes.
And we were talking about the percentage of voters you actually need to make a difference.
Yes. You know, people are throwing around numbers, and basically it's the larger parties that are throwing these numbers, and they're saying it's 52 to 55% voter apathy within the city. That's entirely incorrect. Ultimately, when you go into the voter's role and you look at how many votes it takes for a candidate to be appointed as the candidate, you'd see that it varies across different wards. Now, the collective, yes, on average 52%, but you come to some areas, the apathy goes right down to 24%. 24%. Now, on average, in every single ward within eThekwini, which is 111 currently, you've got anything between 18,000 to 21,000 people that are registered to vote. How is it that it takes only between 3,500 to 5,000 people to actually elect a councillor? And how do those 5,000 people per se, and that's on the top end of things, decide how not the 18 to 21,000 registered voters live, but the 33 to 36,000 people that actually live within the ward? We're talking about the voters' roll. That's people that are registered to vote, right? But the constituency of a ward is in anything between 30 to 35,000 people.
That's a significant number.
So how does 5,000 people, I fail to understand this. 5,000 people at the top end decide how 35,000 people live.
But if 35,000 people went to the polling stations
Absolutely.
and made their mark, then we wouldn't be sitting with that position.
Absolutely, and this is where it comes from. I mean, ultimately we can sit here and we can blame politicians and parties all day long. It comes down to the voters. If they don't come out and vote, and I can understand why the apathy exists, whether it was by design or whether or not, I'm not here to discuss that, because that has already happened in the past. If you look at the three cycles, 2016 and before that, 2012 and one even before that, you'd see that the cycle of voting started out eroding about 10 to 12 years ago, where people stopped turning up at the polling stations because they lost hope completely. And they said, you know, what's the point in voting? It's actually a waste of my time. I don't really want to go there because I'm not going to make a difference. And we're here to tell you that that's exactly the problem. We need to get out there and vote. Vote for anybody.
So what I want you to do is tell our viewers directly
Yes.
why they should vote for ACC.
So if you, I mean, I'm not here to sell myself, and I've never been one to do that. But with all due respect, ACC is a party that's coming from the ground. I mean, originally when we started out, we were doing something called a proof of concept. And we were quite amazed as to how it took off and the people that showed interest in it. Because we've been working in the space of eThekwini Secure and eThekwini Outreach for many years on the ground. And when all of these activists that we've always been working with heard about what we're doing, they said, no, we're involved and we want to be a part of it. And they started putting forth candidates from the people, for the people, by the people. These people are actually from your area. Now, if you don't know who they are, go and find out. Look at their history. I mean, even in the newspaper here, you'd have all our candidates probably did something or something within their community. And we're not here to progress on what we've done in those spaces. But what we're saying is we are harnessing the passion of the people. And when we're talking about service delivery, you've got to look at it from all angles. When we're talking about security and safety, it's service delivery. When you're talking about outreach and feeding and upliftment and empowerment, that's service delivery. This is just one aspect of what we're speaking to. So voting for active citizens for us and for the people that are aligned to us is a no-brainer, because we are here in this municipality. We have no national gag orders over us. We're not a national party. And this is where people get things wrong. There are 3 tiers of government: national, provincial, and local. This is local government. Why are we only running in eThekwini? Because if you can't get local government right, what are you doing on the other spheres? Absolutely nothing. If you can't get the simple things right. And the simple things are cleaning, making sure people have services, and that's basically where we're coming from.
I like a lot of the things that you've said in terms of getting proof of concept, having people
absolutely
on the ground, passionate about service delivery and all those things. So thank you so much. It was really, really lovely having you.
Are we done?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good.
That was leader of the ACC, Imtiaz Sayed, with me in studio. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Thanks so much.
I honestly think that this interview could go on for a very long time.
Absolutely.
Because I can read all the passion in your statements.
Yeah, so it's not questions that we need to script, if you know what I mean. Because we have it in us and we know what we're doing. So that's where we're coming from.
And one of the points that he's spoken about that I'm really passionate about is getting rid of voter apathy. So come the 1st of November, you need to get up, you need to get to a polling station, and you need to put a cross next to the candidate that you most believe in.